Welcome back to my channel. I can't believe it's already halfway through the year and I am sharing my July plan with me. I'm actually really excited about this theme. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been wanting to do a baking theme and I have so many stickers that were perfect for this theme. So let's get into it. So to start the cover, I really wanted to do a little doodle and I really wanted to use color pencils because it's a little softer than markers. It looks different, it looks a little more organic because it looks more like pencil strokes. And my cousin actually got these colored pencils for me in Italy a few years ago. This is actually my first time using them to draw with, so I was really excited to finally have a really cool opportunity to use them. And so I took the yellow and the darker blue color. I've actually swatched these in a short a while back. It's called International Stationery Haul, so you can see what all the colors look like if you're interested. And for the cover, I decided to draw a stick of butter. I don't know why it's so cute to me whenever I see them like on magnets, stickers, shirts, sweatshirts. Like I always want all the butter things for some reason. I don't have them, but I want them. So I think this was my way of having something like that. This actually took me a while to draw out because I'm not good at drawing like 3D shapes. I don't know why the perspective is always really hard for me. I also don't spend a ton of time drawing it, so that's probably a big part of it. So I had to look at a few reference pictures of how people drew them out because I didn't want to look at like the real objects. And luckily I made a shape that looks marginally like a butter stick. So I filled it in with the yellow color pencil and then went back in with the darker blue to fill out the letters. And instead of the letters spelling out butter, I decided that it would spell out July since it'll be for the cover. And then I also used the dark blue to outline the butter stick just to give it more definition and also hide my pencil strokes. And I added in the markers for the different measurements as well as the fold of the butter wrapper paper on the side. And I was gonna write out like the net weight ounces that's usually on the stick of butter with this pencil, but I didn't feel like it would be prominent enough. So I go back in with a fine liner from the Stabilo line, and it was actually a little too blue, but at that point I'd already written it out. You'll see it later, I did it off camera. And then I went ahead and cut this out. I left intentionally a little bit of the white border just so it would pop because I knew I was going to put something behind the butter stick for a background. I did measure the width out a little bit just so I knew that it would fit in the middle of the page so I would be able to center it more easily. So I took this blue plaid washi tape that I got from the Ikigai Papier 2024 advent calendar and I decided I was going to put it in the back. First I wanted to measure to make sure that I had the right width for the washi tape and then I was going to layer it. So I started to make a pattern that would cover the background around the butter stick and it actually looked really cute. It looked kind of like a picnic blanket to me. It looked very picnicky, perfect for pastries and baking, and also it's summertime here and if you hear the AC or fan or anything else in the background, it's like literally over 100 degrees today where I live, so it is what it is. I cannot sit here and record this voiceover without it. And then I tore the edges on both sides just to give it, just so it wouldn't look as neat. It would look a little more rustic, I guess. It just makes it a little more interesting, I think, than just straight lines. I did a little additional trimming on the edges just because with the bigger scissors, I left some of the edges kind of sharp, and then I went in with my glue tape and pasted it in. And then I had these little doodles, sparkles that I was just doing as a test. I referenced some pictures on Pinterest, and then I drew out my own doodles in Procreate, and then I just put them on some label paper and printed it out because that's the only sticky paper I have, and I thought maybe I would be able to use it to add some accents to this page. This is actually my first test of doing any doodles or something and making my own stickers out of them. I think they actually came out pretty good. They're a little larger than I would have liked, but again, I wasn't sure how big or small to make them. Also, it'd become more annoying to cut. So I cut out a few, and then I decided I hated it for this background, and so I just decided to add a little accent with the gold gel pen, one of the Sakura ones. And that was pretty much it for the cover, and I went in to my calendar page, and you see I'm using this like periwinkle Tombow dual brush pen for the headers, and then I use this light gray to make the calendar boxes. I thought it looked nice and softer than the usual black that I use, and I didn't really want to use a different color, so that was a good contrast. I think it pairs well with the softer colors on the cover page. And then just doing the usual, I am filling out the days of the week. Depending on how the calendar looks, I will either do a Sunday or Monday start just to kind of maximize the grid. And then it fills in the days of the week with a Stabilo fine liner. And then I went in with some washi tapes. I have this huge set from Occasional Motto that I got, I think like almost 5 years ago now. My friend bought it for me for my birthday. She knew I was getting into journaling at that point. I'm actually finishing a few of them, which is really exciting. And you'll see that because they are older, the stickiness is, or the adhesive on it is kind of drying out. So I have to go in with a glue pen to glue the edges so they stay down. And then I put in a few stickers. I have a bunch of food, baking, coffee stickers, of course. And so I was really excited to use them throughout here. So I had this bread one, and then I added in one of my accent sparkles. And then I thought about using this yellow set from Daiso, but it didn't really feel like a good fit. So I went in with this yellow plaid. There's definitely gonna be a lot of plaid in here. I don't know why, I was just really into it. I thought it'd be a good pattern. I think again, it's like picnicky, pastries, baking, cuteness. So I went ahead and cut that to the size that I wanted and then stuck it in since it is a sticker. It's also from Daiso. I bought a bunch of things from Daiso at the beginning of the year because a Daiso finally opened up closer to me. Where I live now, there isn't a Daiso nearby. I used to live in an area where there was Daisos like everywhere, and so I don't have that luxury anymore. And then I had this milk sticker, which I thought was perfect because you need milk to bake and to like eat cookies. And I popped in a few of these tiny squares, which is also from Ikigai Papier from the advent calendar. I'm going to be using a lot of Mochi Bujo's stickers here just because I had them all. They fit my color scheme. I like saved them for this July theme. That was it for the calendar and cover, and let's move on to my next spreads. So I started out on the right side doing my reading spread. I do this quarterly, put in the books I read, do some reading stats for that quarter. I actually need to do that now for June. And added in some stickers and sparkles, and also Ikigai Papier also has these header stickers, and so I just used them to kind of fit in with whatever my page was. I actually managed to start and finish a book yesterday, which was pretty exciting. I've been in a huge reading, journaling life slump. It's just been hectic. There's like family stuff happening. Work is picking up because this is like my busier time of the year. And I've just been feeling blah. So that is not helpful. But I was really excited to finally set this theme up, and I think it kind of made me feel better. I got to like do something a little creative and fun. I finally recorded another video. You know, I got to be a little creative, and I'm actually really excited to use this for July. So we'll see how that pans out. I skipped the left side. That's actually going to be my habit trackers. I'm doing something a little different this month, but I hadn't fully decided what I wanted to call each of the sections, so I'm gonna come back to it. You'll see it later. Moving on the left side, this is going to be my task backlog. Like I mentioned, I've been in a slump. Things have been hectic. I think from like March to June is just kind of back to back between like a work trip, getting sick from the work trip. My parents have been having like medical stuff happening. They're fine, just different like procedures, Ramadan, Eid, birthdays. I don't know, it's just like a lot of back to back. And then just feeling blah from somehow the monotony of it all. I don't know. And work stress, just not having a great time there. But so that's kind of what's caused the backlog of tasks I've been prioritizing things that I really need to do instead. I used one of the header stickers for tasks, and then I had these alphabet letter stickers also from Copyrig, and I spelled out backlog. That obviously wasn't a header, that's like very specific to what I needed. And then I added more squares and a cupcake, because baking. I'm actually liking how these little sparkle accents are working on my pages. I would definitely make them smaller next time, and I would also use my Cricut 1.0, it's not even mine, it's my sister's, to cut them out for me. It's actually not that bad cutting them out, but it would just save time to have them pre-cut, and then I can just stick them wherever. I know I'm not going to fill out this whole page, so that's why I put in larger stickers here at the bottom, since I could fill up the page and not feel like I was wasting space. On the right side, I came back in with this plaid washi tape. I was really into this tape. I like wanted to use it on every page, but I wanted to mix it up also, so I tried to control it, but you'll see it pop up again and again. And this side is going to be content planning. I'm not really like making a schedule, but I've just kind of lost track of videos I need to finish up. I've recorded some stuff and then I just didn't finish editing or doing the voiceover, things that I want to make, and then things that are more time bound, kind of like these plan with me videos that happen for certain times of the year. So just trying to compile all my ideas in one place. I did have a spread like this at the beginning of the year, but I made sections for each month, which was stupid, and I knew it because I knew I wasn't going to follow that. So this will be a little more freeform, just to have all of the ideas in one space. And then I added that circle sticker because I thought it would look good, and then I hated it, so I peeled it off. Kind of hard. And then I came back in with these pots and pans because I thought it'd be perfect at the top of the page, and I finally had a good spot to use it. I'm gonna use that like bird egg bowl that's also blue, and added more sparkles. Came back with the alphabet stickers to write content planning. This is basically going to be like a brain dump of ideas that I just want to throw in, have it in one place, and actually reference it. Because I always end up making notes in my phone, on my iPad, on a sticky note. I still inevitably end up doing that. And then by this point, I was ready to come back to my habit trackers, which is not going to be like my traditional quarterly habit trackers. I decided to make this like a soft reset, quote unquote. just as motivation and accountability to actually making myself like feel better, less in a slump, less spending a lot of time just endlessly scrolling. And so I'm gonna call this my 65 soft reset. It is soft because it's not hardcore at all, and because I wanted to save the darker alphabet stickers for later in the page, I used these alphabet stickers from Daiso. Like I mentioned earlier, I was in a slump and I kind of stopped using my habit trackers. I took a break after we went on a weekend camping trip. It just got harder to catch up, and then I was like, you know what, let's just take a break. I'm bored of this. I don't care in this moment. So I decided to just skip it for June. Like I haven't done anything for June in habit tracking, which is fine. I've been doing some of those habits, but just not keeping track. And so for the 65 soft reset, I'm going to be focusing on July and August, which of course are going to be busier times with work. I work from home, so everything is all here. Because I tend to prioritize like that 9 to 5, I don't necessarily always wake up with like a nicer morning routine or creating better breaks for myself to do some walking. So those are the things that I really want to focus on, like walking a certain amount of steps, reading in the morning. I've gotten better about that. I don't open my inbox right away because I have it on my phone, and usually I leave the sound on starting at like 8:30 just in case I oversleep, so it'll scare me. But sometimes I tend to look at the messages. Now I don't respond right away, like not until like 9:30. So it's still reasonable, but it still gives me a little time to sit down, drink coffee. I usually end up playing a game on my iPad, but I want to replace that with like 15 minutes of reading. I find if I give myself like a timer to do something or like a small window, then it's easier for me to get started and I will finish the task. That's like the hardest part for me, is to get started and then stay consistent. And then I just blocked off the boxes that don't apply to that month, and that was pretty much it. Now we're going to my weeklies. As you'll notice, I didn't do any goals planning spreads here. A lot of my goals are centered around kind of that soft reset concept of just building better habits and routines to be more balanced. And so I didn't really feel like I wanted to track or set any specific goals this quarter. I think it's just about taking care of myself and getting through it. And so that's what I want to focus on. I don't really care about my goals in that sense, in the sense of like I have to complete them on XYZ date or I fail. So trying to focus on feeling better, because I definitely get seasonal depression during the summer. It's so hot here where I live. Not as hot as Arizona, but we get like regularly over 100 degrees in Central California, and I'm often in the dark just to keep the sun out. It gets depressing very easily. I'm also staring at a computer screen for 8 hours a day, 8+ hours, because then I'm doing my own thing after that. And then I don't leave the house because, again, working from home. So it just gets sad, and I always fall into like a slump around this time. So I really want to make sure I try to find ways to make myself feel better. Anyway, you'll see here I am setting up the first of my weekly spreads. I had these days of the week stickers from Ikigai Papier and the number stickers. And so I planned boxes out, but it looks a little more freeform just so I knew where to place all the stickers. And I added more pastries, one from Notebook Therapy, and a lot of these stickers are from Artimation and they're on Etsy. They create lovely stickers. They're so cute. I wanted to buy all of them. I bought a bunch, I think. in a sale a couple years ago, and I really loved all of these. So I was really excited to use that green sticker where they're like sitting at an outdoor lunch picnic meal. It was really cute. So it's like I finally get to use it. I was very excited. Even the green wasn't in this color palette. I was like, who cares? It's not like we have to follow a super strict palette here. And a lot of my sparkles and accents came in handy here, so I just really liked how this turned out. And then I did my other 2 weeklies off camera. That top right actually ended up being one of my favorites. I filmed some of these things off camera because I just didn't have time to record everything. Also, it's hot. My light makes me hot and angry. And you'll see that the background changes a few times, the lighting changes a few times because I recorded this throughout the month whenever I had a good chunk of time. And so this is my last weekly, week 5. I just used whatever letters I had left, so that's why it's kind of a little mix and match. Finally brought back that sticker, that circle sticker here, and used it. And I put in a bagel sticker because you have to bake bagels, and I love bagels. And also another excuse just to use coffee because I associate having pastries with your morning coffee or tea. And then I came back in with the blue plaid washi tape here on this side. Since this is the last spread for this theme, I decided to make this like a free form journaling, dump thoughts, whatever page. And continue to add a few more stickers, more baking. These kind of veer more into the picnic territory, and adding some of those accents as well. Since I still had a good amount of letters, I gave it a header with those ones. So it just says thoughts and stuff. And I think my camera cut out there because of storage, so I just finished the letters off camera. And here we go. That's pretty much it. Let's flip through this theme. I really love how this came out. My April, May, and June themes were kind of random. I just set them up to set them up. I didn't really use a lot of my June spreads, but I'm really excited to use these. I hope these really motivate me to come back to journaling a little more consistently. I'd really sad if I let these go to waste because of how cute they are. So good excuse. And that's it for July. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe for more bullet journal content. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.